For our Johnstown Live listeners, we've got a very special treat here this morning. We have the principal at Westmont Hilltop High School, Mr. Tom Mitchell, and two students involved with the WestyTek robotics team, Katie O'Leary and Matt Wayne, with us. And Tom, welcome to Johnstown Live.
Hey, thank you, Ralph. Thanks for having me this morning. Thanks for having us.
Tom, can you tell us about this WestyTek? First off, what is WestyTek?
Well, WestyTek is a competitive robotics team that we just started here at Westmont High School. Last year, we've been competing in the first robotics competition for the last 2 years now. It's been something really adding a new program to our school that involves a lot of the STEM things that we're hearing so much about, involving science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. And it's really been something positive for our student population.
Now, how many students are actually involved in WestyTek? And at this time, is it just a senior high organization?
It's just a senior high organization, grades 9 through 12. We have about 22 students involved. There are about 5 mentors led by Mr. Doug Atterbury. And it's been a really kind of a different kind of program because there hasn't been a competitive team that revolves around something of an academic standpoint as far as that involves the science, the technology, and the math, like I said before.
Well, a little shout-out to Mr. Atterbury because this WestyTek team, and not only a shout-out to him, but a shout-out to the students, they're headed to this national championship competition in St. Louis, Missouri, April 23, 24, 25, and 26. And I know that since you guys qualified, you've been raising funds to try to get them there. I know they're taking a bus out there. They're leaving on Tuesday the 22nd, I believe. And what was the goal? What was the funding goal to try to, get the group into the bus and rolling down the highway?
Well, I think when I received a text that the students won the competition, and I was back and forth with one of our the PR students, Edwin Keslak, about how much this was going to cost, and he kind of calculated it out to be about $16,000. The Westmont Hilltop School Board contributed about half of that amount. The Community Foundation came up with a $4,000 for us, and so we really needed to raise around $4,000 to get on that trip. And right now, we're somewhere around about $1,300 shy of our goal to make sure that that everything gets paid for.
Well, being $1,300 shy of the goal, it sounds to me like you're headed in the right direction. How would somebody donate? And I realize the window's kind of closing fast, so we're out there to all those people that care about young people, and this is something very positive, and it's something that we should all be very proud of. How would somebody donate to the cause?
There's a lot of information on the website, www.westytek.com. It gives information on how to donate, how to get money to the student organization. And so I think that would be the best place to look as far as gives a lot of information about our robot, our students, our mentors, what's going on with that group. And then also there is a section on there of how to donate if you're so inclined.
Well, and I want a little shout-out to Edwin Keslak because he sent me an email with a lot of information on it. And for our Johnstown Live listeners, you can make any checks payable to Westmont Hilltop High School with WestyTek Robotics mentioned on the memo line. You can also go on their website and donate. Hit the donate button on the WestyTek team website, westytek.com, and I guess you could also call Mr. Mitchell and bug him, 255-8769, and I mean that affectionately, Tom.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding around here this morning. I know that you take all calls, and you're a great guy doing great things up there at Westmont. Let's say that you go over your goal. Let's say you get beyond $16,000. What would happen with those funds?
Well, at this point, we are looking also forward towards next year. Every year we are required to pay a $5,000 registration fee for the next competition. So we need to build up we need to have that goal in mind as far as we do not want this to be a terminating event for our organization. We certainly want to look towards the future, and this is something we want to maintain at Westmont Hilltop High School for the years to come, not just for this group of students, but for future groups of students.
Well, Tom, we had mentioned that this is kind of a senior high activity right now. Do you see in the future that it would get into the middle school and potentially the elementary school?
Well, the FIRST Robotics, and there's a lot of different competitions as far as there's a FIRST Robotics Lego League, there's a FIRST Robotic Tech Challenge, and then there's a more advanced competition is the one that these kids compete in, the FIRST Robotics competition. So there's actually 3 different levels, and it does go down all the way to the middle school. We haven't really got that far yet, but that is definitely a possibility as we move forward, with this competition.
Well, Mr. Mitchell, the high school principal at Westmont Hilltop High School, you guys are doing great things over there, and this WestyTek robotics team is just one great example of the great education that our kids receive in the Westmont Hilltop School District. And Tom, I'm not going to throw you out of the way, but we've got a couple students from the team, and Tom, I do want to thank you for stopping by this morning, and I wish you nothing but great things and good positive things.
Thank you so much, Ralph.
You're listening to Johnstown Live with Ralph DeMarco on 1490 WNTJ News Talk in Johnstown. We have a few students with us this morning from the WestyTek robotics team. They're headed to the National Championship competition in St. Louis, Missouri, April 23rd, 24th, 25th, and 26th. And we have sophomore with us, Katie O'Leary. Katie, welcome to Johnstown Live.
Hi there. Thank you very much for having me.
Man, you got a great radio voice, Katie. You know that.
Thank you.
Well, Katie, you're a sophomore there at Westmont Hilltop High School. You keep Mr. Mitchell straight every day, keep him in line?
I try to. I do my best.
That's a tough job, huh?
Yeah, I think he does a pretty good job.
No, that's good, Katie. Smart answer. Katie, how and why did you get involved in the WestyTek robotics team?
Well, when I first heard of WestyTek, I just figured it would be a very different experience and a very big challenge for all of us. There's really nothing like this at the high school, and it's really unique, especially with all the energy and effort everybody puts into it. I just really wanted a challenge from it.
So, what is your function? What do you do? What exactly do you guys do with this WestyTek robotics team as far as the national competition? I mean, what do you got? You have a robot, or what's going on there?
Well, basically, there's two teams. There's a mechanical programming drive team that builds the robot and competes with it, and then there's a business, media, and public relations team. I'm on the business, media, and public relations, and basically we just try to fundraise, make t-shirts, anything that isn't involved with building the robot, we take care of and try to put our best to support the rest of our team.
So, you're part of this public relations team. What have you personally done as far as the public relations team is concerned with WestyTek robotics?
Well, my job will go anywhere from booking hotels to calling businesses and sponsors to making funds for the robotics teams, organizing fundraisers. One of our members, Veronica Petrus, works really hard on making t-shirts and button designs. That way we can go to the competition with a lot of pride and look really well while we're doing it.
Well, Katie, so you're the brains and organization behind the outfit, right?
Yeah, me and a few of our other members, Noah Gordon, Edwin Kaslak, Veronica Petrus.
Well, Katie, I guess, now I realize you're only a sophomore in high school, but have you given much thought to future plans? What are you thinking about doing with your life?
Well, I'm very interested in life science, and I think all of the things I've learned from WestyTek, things like how to respect authority, deadlines, talking to people in a professional manner, really can take me anywhere. I think I would very much like to contribute into science, specifically in chemistry and biology, and I would hope to go to Penn State.
Chemistry and biology. I was just glad that I got through the classes, and you're at the head of the class.
Thank you very much.
Well, Katie, did we miss anything before we drag Matt Wayner onto the microphone? Did we miss something that we should be telling our Johnstown Live listeners about the WestyTek robotics team?
Well, I think that's pretty much it. I mean, any donation anybody can make will really push us as far as we can go. We're very thankful for the entire community for supporting us.
Well, Katie, good luck at this competition in St. Louis, Missouri, coming up here on April 23rd. You guys are leaving on April 22nd. You're taking a bus, right?
Yes, that'll be very exciting for all of us.
Now, how many are actually going to make the trip? With advisors and everything, how many will actually be making the trip?
There's 16 students, one advisor, I believe 3 mentors going.
And what do you mean by mentors? Just kind of like volunteers that help out, or?
Well, most parents, college students, or teachers will help out the organization by giving any knowledge they have into the robot. We're very thankful for all of them, and we're bringing some of them to national competitions so that way they can really just help guide us through this.
Well, it seems like you guys got a well-oiled machine, and Katie, I want to wish you and all your team members and mentors and advisors, I'm sure you guys will represent the Westmont Hilltop High School with class and dignity, and you guys will make an honest effort, and I wish you guys nothing but the best, not only in the competition, but in the future. And Katie, thanks for being on Johnstown Live.
Thanks for having me.
You're listening to Johnstown Live with Ralph DeMarco on 1490 WNTJ, the news talk station in Johnstown. And we've got some guests here from the WestyTek robotics team. They're headed to the first national championship competition in St. Louis, Missouri, April 23, 24, 25, and 26. And our next guest is senior, Matt Weiner. Matt, welcome to Johnstown Live.
Oh, hello. Thanks for having me.
Wow, you talk about, now there's another great radio voice. So now, don't be applying for my job or anything, Matt, okay?
Thank you.
Well, Matt, why and how did you get involved in the WestyTek robotics team?
Well, actually, there was just a field trip to go see one of the competitions, and I actually couldn't attend, but I heard just some really great things about it. It was high energy, and it's often described as a mix between a sports game and a rock concert. It's just a very high-energy event, and after I heard about it, and after I heard that there was a team at the high school, I just knew I had to get involved.
A sports event and a rock concert.
Yeah, wow. I know, it's pretty...
Where do I sign up?
Well, it doesn't sound like something you would expect from a robotics competition, but what we do is we build a robot, and then we test it to do a certain task, which is a game that first designates every year. So this year, our game was called Aerial Assist, and it involves taking an exercise ball, and you have to score it in a few different goals that they have on the field to get a different amount of points. So basically what would happen is that we would compete with two other teams on an alliance for all these matches. And each match we would go through, it would give us different qualification points and qualify to hopefully get into a final round earlier.
Well, Matt, I got to ask you this question. Like, what does your robot look like?
Well, it's basically it has a metal frame on the bottom. I think it's 32 by 24 inches. And it has 6 wheels. And that allows the robot to, go and drive in basically any direction. And it has a structure on the front that supports a throwing arm that throws the ball, and on the back it has an arm that goes up and down to inbound this exercise ball that we use in competition.
Wow, I'd like to see that thing in action. Now, what's your role on the WestyTek robotics team? What are you involved in? What is your role?
My official role is as a team captain, along with Aaron Marco and Sean Robb. And basically, I have done a lot of design work with the robot. I've helped out with a lot of the construction with building the robot. And it's a lot of times we have our own individual roles of what we're assigned to do, but we will go across and we'll help out with other things just whenever they need to be done, just so we're not sitting around and doing nothing.
Well, let me say this to you. Never look like you're doing nothing. Just a little bit of advice there in life, okay? Always pick up the broom and sweep, if nothing else.
Yeah.
I learned that from my mother. Good advice. Matt, is there someone that actually, is there the pilot, the captain, somebody who runs this robot?
Yeah, actually, our drive team is comprised of myself and another student, Sean Robb. We both control the joystick for driving the robot in competition. And then my brother, Eric Weiner, he designed all the programming and the computer code to run the robot, and he's basically a co-pilot. He will shoot the ball in competition or pick it up. And then we have 2 what are called human players in the competition, Emily Mayket and Adam Shark. What they both do is they'll take this ball and they have to throw it into the robot on the field so our robot can get possession of the ball.
So this robot's like a center fielder.
Yeah, we usually play center field to backfield. What we did at our regional competition this year is we played midfield, where we would take the ball from one robot that would inbound it at the station where the human player was, and then we would take that ball and we would throw it over a truss in the middle of the field, because there's a 5-foot truss in the center of the field where you would get an extra 10 points in your scoring cycle, because each time you would score a goal, if you assist or throw it over this truss, you get more points with a combo score, I guess.
Sounds exciting, Matt. Matt, got to ask you, you're a senior now at Westmont Hilltop High School. What are your plans? What are your future plans?
Well, I plan to attend either Penn State or the University of Delaware. Haven't quite decided yet, but I would like to go for chemical engineering.
Matt, that sounds fantastic. I want to wish you guys nothing but the best of luck with this WestyTek robotic team, and I want to wish you nothing but great luck in your future endeavors, and thanks for stopping by Johnstown Live this morning.
All right, thanks for having us.
Hey, you're listening to Johnstown Live with Ralph DeMarco on 1490 WNTJ News Talk in Johnstown, and our guest came to us this morning from the WestyTek robotics team, and if you'd like to help them out, they're headed to the first national competition in St. Louis, Missouri, April 23, 24, 25, and 26. If you'd like to donate to their cause, you can make checks payable to Westmont Hilltop High School with WestyTek Robotics mentioned on the memo line, or by credit card through the donate button on the WestyTek team website, westytek.com. And you can also call 255-8769 if you'd like to, talk and make a donation over the phone. And want to thank Mr. Mitchell, the high school principal, Matt Wader, and Katie O'Leary for being on Johnstown Live this morning. And we want to wish them nothing but the best of luck in this national competition. And go WestyTek. And safe and positive travels as you head off to St. Louis, Missouri. It's Johnstown Live with Ralph DeMarco on 1490 WNTJ, the news talk station in Johnstown.